Welcome to this production and operations management tutorial video. Today we're going to show you how to compute savings from purchasing or reduced purchasing costs. To do so, we will first look at a base case where we have computed or have figures for sales and various costs and a profit margin, and then from there we will look at the bottom line benefits from a given percentage reduction in purchasing costs. That'll be our first option after the base case. Next, we will look at the bottom line benefits from a given percentage increase to sales, and then finally we will compare the benefits of 1 and 2 above. The point being here that we want to show that $1 in purchasing savings goes right to the bottom line, whereas $1 increase in sales, when margins stay the same, margin percentages, do not result in a $1 increase to the bottom line. We'll now jump over to Excel and go through this example. In the first case, we have here the base case where we have a company with $100 million in revenue, let's say, cost of goods sold $60 million, other expenses $36 million, leaving us a pre-tax profit or earnings of $4 million. We're going to take that same information here and we're just going to copy it just as the values here. And we'll actually do that again. And before we go much further, we'll notice here that we have the pre-tax earnings as a formula here and not just a value. So I'm going to copy that formula as well. And I'm going to paste special here, and just the formulas is all we're going to copy here. So when we make changes to the purchasing costs and to the sales, then we'll automatically compute the adjusted pre-tax earnings. So in the first case, we're going to say, let's suppose we have a 2% reduction in purchasing costs. So what we need to do here is we need to reduce purchasing by 2%, which is really going to be nothing more than taking this value here, the 60, and minus that same value times 2% or 0.02, and that gives us our new purchasing cost. And so by doing so, we reduced purchasing by $1.2 million and increased our earnings by $1.2 million from 4 to 5.2. This represents, well, let's see how much it represents in terms of savings, or rather an increase to earnings. We'll take the new earnings divided by the old earnings and then subtract 1 from that, and that shows that this resulted in a 30% increase to pre-tax earnings. In our second case, we're going to suppose that we're going to increase sales by 10%. Now typically, to increase sales by 10%, we may have to have an increase in the cost of goods sold. Our margins stay the same, our gross margins. And we're also going to assume that our other expenses will have to increase by 10% as well in order to support the increase in sales. So we'll take this number here, the base case number, and we'll multiply it by 0.1, rather 1.1. That'll give us the 10% increase. So we have 110 million in sales. We'll copy that same information down, and we'll copy it without changing the format. So copy, fill without formatting. And you'll notice that resulted in an increase to pre-tax earnings, now being 4.4 million. Because we had increases in the cost of goods sold and our other expenses. So the 10% increase in sales did not give us as much of an increase to pre-tax earnings as did merely reducing the costs of our purchases, the cost of goods sold. Now we can copy this same, well, I can't copy it because I didn't anchor it properly, so we'll just write that same formula again. We'll take the pre-tax earnings, the new pre-tax earnings, divided by the base case pre-tax earnings, and subtract 1, and that gives us a 10% increase in earnings. So again, the point here of this exercise is to show that when you are able to reduce purchasing costs, those costs go directly, not proportionally, but directly to the bottom line. We had a 1.2 million decrease in the cost of goods sold, or our purchasing costs, and that resulted in a 1.2 million increase to pre-tax earnings. Whereas when we increased our sales and did not make any changes to our cost of goods sold or other expenses, but they grew proportionally as well, it only resulted in a 10% increase to our pre-tax earnings. Again, illustrating the great importance of trying to reduce purchasing costs and the direct benefits that result therefrom. Well, that'll do it for this tutorial video. Hope this has been helpful in illustrating the importance of trying to reduce purchasing.